Hi, everyone. My name is Allie, and my channel is Heart and Soul Connected. And welcome today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how your subconscious works in your sleep to give you warnings of impending things that may be either upcoming or something that you're not dealing with that it is trying to help you deal with as you sleep. Again, hi, I'm Allie, and my channel is Heart and Soul Connected, and I also have a website called heartandsoulconnected.online. And you can reach me there for readings. I do the Akashic Records readings, I read cards, and I also hold classes. And so check my class listings because I have another class that's coming up on Sunday, January 4th, if you're watching this before that period of time. Otherwise, just check my schedule on my website. It will give you an idea of what I'm doing. So I also have a dream show that I do with 3 other ladies on Tuesday nights here in the Pacific Northwest. It would be starting at 4 p.m. On Tuesday nights, and then just figure out your time zone and add or subtract what time that would be for you. It's called Dreams, Visions, and Appearances, and we take your dreams from the chat, or you can email them to us, and we work on them. But ultimately, what I want you to understand is that your dreams and your symbolism is very personal to you. And while we can give you some universal ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs around your symbology is the true essence of what it is that you need to know. And so building a dream dictionary of your own is something that's very, very important, because what something means to you symbolically isn't always what it means to someone else. And so just getting a regular dream dictionary, it may be nice in a generic sense, but really a lot of it has to do with your own personal understanding, symbology, and also what they called your schema, which is what it is that you have had happen in your life that you have taken into your essence, and it has become a part of your story. It could be a class you've taken, a book you've read, a poem you've read. It could be a movie you've watched, and how those have affected you. And so all of these things affect us because all of us don't live in one life. In other words, we also carry those past life memories of our own personal soul journey. And so your own personal soul journey is going to be very, very different than mine or anyone else's. And so those things also affect your dream and your dream symbology. So while I'm giving you some insights here as to how your mind works while you are sleeping, it's very important for you to also remember that you should empower yourself to figure some of these things out. It's very, very important. Now, over the period of time of the holidays, I have been out due to illness and surgery. And one of the nights I didn't sleep at all. And the very next night I was completely exhausted and slept for 17 hours. And in that 17 hours, I went through a great, great deal of purging. Along with the purging that came along, because I needed to release a lot of different things, physically, bodily, emotionally. I also tried to work on, apparently my subconscious did this, on the fears that are of concern to me with regard to the state of the culture or our nation or even the world. And in those images that were conjured in my dreams, there were many, many apocalyptic ones. A lot of them had to do with repression, being forced into something, being held down, being made to go into cages, being made to be treated as other. And a lot of that was very, very difficult to go through. While I recognize that some of those things were purges that I was making in my own life, what they also were informing me of were the fears of the culture and also what is a possibility of a culture. And I learned that more specifically after discussing with two of the ladies on my dream show that work with me, had apocalyptic dreams the same night. We were all in different parts of the world. And what dream interpretation and analysis workshops and shows can do is bring that collective unity in and hold it in a more cohesive unit, allowing us to experience things in real time during dream time, whatever that dream time is, and experience it across the people that are tied into that unit. So the fact that my sisters and I have worked on this for several years now, we have been a cohesive unit of dream interpretation analysts. We have become very attuned to each other's energies and the energies of our subconscious and our dreams. It may seem silly to some people, but it really, really isn't. And what's the best part of it is that it only enhances itself within the bigger collective unit of community. There are people that started watching the dream show when it first became the dream show, and they didn't remember their dreams, or they remember a little bit of it. And they're stupid. I don't remember them. I wake up and I forget all about them. And now I'm getting people weekly who will come in and say, this happened, that happened. And some of the meticulous detail that comes in to these dreams and is thereby shown to those of us who are in the chat or in the community are phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. They've increased themselves into messages more universal for the rest of the collective. Some of them precognitive, as I've mentioned. Some people seeing things in their dreams, maybe just flashes or images of something. For instance, one person seeing a white truck down in New Orleans, and then the day or two later, seeing it on the news, and what was going on with that white truck and who was driving it and what happened to it. And I mean, this is the growth is exponential, and it will only get bigger the more people that are included in this particular community of dreamers. The energy of the collective, or any energies, if you're religious, you know that when two or more are gathered, anything can be done and more is revealed. Well, it's the same way with this. And it's part of the system that says, if you believe it, it will come. You don't have to see it to believe it. You can, if you believe it, you will see it. And so I just wanted to paraphrase and begin by saying these things, because these things really do matter. They really do make a difference. If you're interested in that sort of thing. It also doesn't mean that you have to be interested in every other thing that we all do as a collective. If you're only interested in the dreams, then just come to the dream show. We welcome you, and we would love to hear what you have to tell us as well. Whether or not you remember your dreams or not, you can offer your own interpretations of what you think they mean. And what does this do but open you up to your own symbology? Okay? Since we spend at least 2/3 of our life asleep, our minds are anything but quiet. A lot of times we process things. We process them, especially when we are on downtime. Our minds are more filled with information than our parents or grandparents or further back, never mind. I mean, it doesn't even matter. More than our parents, we have to remember a lot more things. We're bombarded on a 24/7 basis by things. And we don't take into consideration that time, which is our downtime. And many of us don't realize that we're processing things that we're not able to process consciously, perhaps. And this is through our time in dreaming. And that's why it's so important that we sleep so we can dream. We have deeply embedded dreams that happen to us, in the middle of the night. We have some that happen in sort of a twilight state. And a lot of us have a lot of dreams that are very, very clear to us because it's the last 20 minutes of our sleep in the morning before we wake up. And we're right in the midst of it. And it's very clear to us. And those are the dreams we certainly can write down. Very important that we write them down, though. There isn't a scientific consensus that dreams are a warning system, but they have been found that they can help us understand the recurring anxiety-filled dreams linked to stress. And we have more stress than our parents did. They may have had to deal with the war. They may have had to deal with working in poverty-stricken times. I know my parents were. At the same time, they weren't bombarded by information 24/7 either. They weren't made to remember things like we were. I think one of the things that they had to remember was phone numbers. They had to remember phone numbers. But they didn't even have to remember their social security number. They didn't have to remember passcode numbers. They didn't have to remember, what is your password? They didn't have to change it every week or 2 weeks or whatever at work or whatever it is. It's important for us to understand that. So ignoring the patterns that show up is like having your check engine light on, knowing that you should have it checked, but saying, he'll be all right. He'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about it. For years and years and years. Okay. When you're awake, you have all kinds of defense mechanisms. And if you've ever studied psychology, you know what some of these are. You rationalize, you procrastinate, you tell yourself you're fine. But when you're sleeping, those take a back seat because they're sleeping too. And your ego is there with them. And it could be that you might have been dreaming about a monster. But it may not be a monster, real Godzilla-like monster. It could be a gut level feeling of avoiding a tough conversation. Or maybe you have a looming deadline at work. Or maybe you have to go in and have some kind of a surgery done. Or you have to get up early in the morning in order to get somewhere. And you don't know how the traffic is going to be. There's so much of it. We just don't. Okay. Always, I'll get through it. I'll get through it. I'll get through it. I'll get through it. A dream of falling may have to do nothing to do with heights. It could be a symbol of you tanking your career by missing something, by losing control of it. So these aren't just little random stories that you're dealing with here. Although I will say there are dreams that you could have that may have had to do with the food that you've eaten for dinner at a too late hour and it didn't settle well. So yes, they do have those. There are those. But our deepest anxieties, our unresolved issues are always there. So my apocalyptic dreams might have been my unresolved issues around fear that I have, or the collective fear that we all have. It could mean that I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to handle something if it comes up. I don't know what it is, but I know it's important for me to look at this, for me to handle this in some particular way. So the distress also could be burnout, relationship breakdowns, anxiety that comes out of nowhere, something you're not facing. And it could be an early alert system for you. I have that happen to me in the fall. The fall is an interesting time of year for me because I always feel like I'm going to fall in the fall. Although I love it. I'd rather call it autumn because I don't want to fall. In the fall, I teach most of my classes. In the fall, there is a deadline for Thanksgiving, a deadline for Christmas. There are things that have to be done weekly that are immediate and necessary in order for the next week to unfold itself. There's a feeling I'm letting myself down with what I really want to be doing, which is having and doing shows. And there is an anxiety that comes around not being good enough, not being prepared enough, not being whatever, not meeting myself for the moment. So whenever I have to also have any procedures done, I have to have them planned for the holiday season because I have sometimes 3 weeks off, or at least 2. And 2 weeks is, a good time for recovery. pending not having extra issues like this time. But at the same time, that leaves me no time off, because even though I have the time to recuperate and rest, I've already needed the time to recuperate and rest without this extra thing. I know this, and yet it always happens that this is the only time I can prepare myself for something like this. And that is best case scenario. And best case scenario doesn't always work out. So fortunately for me, I have a very understanding group of people here that I absolutely love, as well as collaborators who are very kind and understanding. And so for me, it has been a life-saving event to have that kind of support. Sigmund Freud said that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that dreams have two layers: the manifest content, or the wacky story that you remember, and the latent content, the symbolic meaning, which was repressed or a conflict. If your mind performs dream work to disguise a painful truth in a symbolic story, it does so it doesn't shock you awake. It's making you go, oh, that was a silly dream. Oh, for heaven's sake. But the more you think about it, the more you understand the underlying things behind it, and the more you have times to come to terms with it. So if you're looking at if you're in a dream where you're furious at a squirrel, through your own personal associations, you might be masking a socially unaccepted anger you feel towards your boss. Or, there's a more modern interpretation of squirrel. Look over here. You're being distracted. You're being distracted by something. You're not seeing this for what it is. You're not listening. You're not doing the work. You're not here. Okay. Carl Jung, another psychologist who started as Freud's student, said dreams were not just about repressed desires, but there are ways to find balance. And that, again, both of those things make perfect sense to me. In this case, you need to find the balance between what you do every single day, and so that you are not tipping that scale in the wrong direction, right? You have to keep it balanced. And yes, it's very impossible to do that in any sort of way. However, you can try your best to keep it as balanced as possible. That's all that's being asked here. Don't overwork, and then sleep not. How about don't oversleep and work not? I mean, think about those balances. It's very important. A lot of people have told me they dream about trying to find a bathroom, or they're looking for a bathroom, or the bathroom dreams, bathroom. I have a lot of bathroom dreams. Bathroom dreams are elimination. What is it that you have to eliminate in your life? What do you need to dump? What do you need to release? If you have diarrhea, what is it that you need to release? If you're constipated, what are you holding on to? You can't find a public toilet. You're not trying, because you don't need that. You don't need that problem. You don't need to find that public toilet. But there's a fear around the fact that if you don't find a place to release your burden, you may mess up everything, specifically your own clothing. Yes. You don't want to wet your pants, right? So think about this symbolically, and also think about, if you're dreaming about a part of a house, exactly where does that fit within your body? If it's in that lower bowel region, you're going to be dreaming about the bathroom. If it's in the cellar, what is it that you've buried way down deep? If it's in the attic, what is it that you're trying to access in your higher self? If you're in the kitchen, what are you not nourishing yourself, or what are you over-nourishing yourself with? If it's in the living room, it's where you have your space. Is it messy? Is it clean? Is it cluttered? Does it need to have things sorted out? What about your bedroom? Is your bed always a mess? Are you sleeping well? Are you comfortable? Do you have a pillow? Your closet is jammed full. What is that telling you? You have no room for anything new to come in. These are things you can work on as you work through your dream day. Your dreams are warnings for you. Your dreams are stories for you. They're telling you their potential meaning is embedded in the story. The story that gets you to watch it as a story, and the inner literal meaning of the dream that comes from analyzing it. A lot of us have dreams of being chased, trapped, or paralyzed. These are anxiety dreams. What is it you're anxious about? What are you fearful of? What are you running from? Okay. Some people have dreams of falling, failing, or public humiliation. These dreams don't mean you're going to fail. It's just a fear of being judged, not being measured up, or being exposed as a fraud. The dream isn't a warning, but a fear that failure is becoming overwhelming. There are many of us in any industry who go through that silly and ridiculous fear that we are a fraud. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, how much education you have, how long you've been doing it. All of us at some point go through, well, you know, I'm saying I can, when I got my 2 master's degrees and I started teaching, one day I remember sitting there going, how do I know? How can I do this? How am I any better than anybody else to be a teacher of this particular topic? The truth is, I'm no better and no worse than anybody else, but I am qualified according to my educational qualifications. So I have to leave it. I have to say, of course you are. You would never have gotten a college degree. It's all about that. It's all about our fear of being found out. Found out about what? We are no better and no worse than anyone else. Some of us just have more experience. What about a dream of a dreadful premonition? These can happen, and some of them can be precognitive dreams. They may be dreams telling you something that's going to come. Those can be troublesome. I remember waking up one morning after dreaming that I was sitting on an old-fashioned stagecoach with my brother and my dad. It was a horse. Horses were drawing it, and there was a hearse behind us, and there was a dead body in a coffin back there. And the first thing I thought when I woke up was, oh my God, something's going to happen to my brother or my father. They're sitting side by side. But it wasn't. It was the person that was back there that actually left me, my mother, very soon after that dream. It protected me enough that I recognized that I had the fair warning, but it was not a comfortable dream to have. And it was very difficult because it foretold something that I could never have seen coming that happened this fast. It was horrendous. And I was only 33 years old. And I had to take care of everything pretty much. And I did, because you do what you need to do, even when you don't think you can do it. There was a story I'm going to leave you with that Carl Jung talked about with a colleague. He dreamed he climbed a high, great mountain, and upon reaching the peak, he simply stepped off into thin air. Jung saw this as a warning from the man's subconscious about his dangerously inflated ego. And I love this. Oh, I am so good, I can reach the pinnacle and I can walk on air, is what I get out of it. The man died later in a tragic climb. This was a preparation for himself and others, but it didn't teach him anything. He wasn't careful enough from the warning that he received. He should have seen this as an antidote, not as a proof of psychic dreams. The principle is this: consider every character and object in your dream represents an aspect of you. It's all you. A dream about your house falling apart isn't a real estate tip. It might be a warning that you're neglecting your own inner life. So In learning your dreams as a skill, it's important that you write them down the minute that you wake up before your feet hit the floor. Have a piece of paper and a pen, start writing immediately, write whatever it is you remember. And don't do that after you get up and start making coffee and have to go pee and take a shower. All of it will be gone. It's gone. The ones that you remember the most and the best are usually the most important. I will give you that, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't write them down anyway. Make your own personal associations with them and then connect them to things that are happening within your world. Whether they don't have to be a linear A equals B. It could be that A goes to D and then P and Z and then D. It can go this way. They're a rich source of information for you. If you've had a dream that you felt was a clear warning, it probably was. Even if that warning just meant take this as a warning and you understood it as a warning. That's a very important association. Thank you so very much for listening to me today and coming by. And I'd love it if you liked and subscribed to my channel and leave a comment, leave a question, and please come by on Tuesday nights and bring us your dreams. And if you don't remember them right away, then you will eventually. Also, if you additionally have any visions that you see or any appearances, such as ETs or Mother Mary, apparitions, whatever it might be, bring those as well. We're all here to discuss and work together to make good associations for these dreams. And remember always, ultimately, you hold the key to your own dream. Thank you again.